All right, man, lean in because I'm about to let you in on something big. You're here because you're searching for that golden ticket to win your wife back after a split, right? Well, the next few minutes could really turn the tide for you and show you how to not only get your wife back, but as in the case of many men before you, to do it in 6 to 8 weeks, but only if you're all ears and ready to embrace some truths. Speaking of which, you want to stick around because near the end, you're going to hear from 2 guys who achieved the powerful results I'm talking about. As a couples counselor and psychotherapist, I've seen it all. I've been in the corner hundreds and hundreds of times, and I've been in men's rings on the side, coaching them back from what seemed like the final round of their marriage. And here's the secret. It's not about bending over backwards or playing mind games. Today's lesson centers on a strategy that's been battle tested and proven. We're not reinventing the wheel here, but we are scraping off the rust and giving it a nice polish. Tapping into some age-old truths about relationships, attraction, and the complex web of female psychology. The essence of making a marriage work and keeping your wife happy might have evolved with the times, but the core principles are as stable as ever. It all boils down to understanding how women tick and tapping into those deep-seated desires and behaviors that make her want to stay with you and for the long haul. So buckle up as we dive into the 5 steps that can be your roadmap to reconciliation. These steps contain wisdom from countless success stories, but to be successful, got to apply them in the same order I give them to you, all right? Let's get into it. First off, we're going to talk about Wu Wei. You see, it's an ancient Chinese concept meaning inexertion or inaction, and it resembles this push-pull concept. Think of effortless action, like sailing your kayak nice and smoothly through rough waters, rather than rowing frantically against the current. When she drops the "I'm done" bomb, or "I love you but I'm no longer in love with you," or if there's another guy in the picture, it's the same reaction. It's like a sucker punch to the gut. You didn't see it coming, and suddenly your world's upside down, right? Especially when she claims she hasn't been happy for years. What? You think? We've had so many great memories, right? This confusion you're feeling, it's something many guys go through. As someone who loves solving problems, your first instinct is to do something, right? Anything to fix it. The guys I coach, they're high achievers. They're used to tackling issues head on. But here's the twist. When it comes to winning your wife back, the usual logic doesn't apply. You see, attraction is a bit of a paradox. It's like trying to grab a bar of soap in the bath. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Why? Because love and desire don't thrive on pressure. They need space to grow. So when you start overanalyzing every little thing she complained about, buying books, listening and tagging along the therapy, or changing your whole schedule to be honed a little bit more, you're essentially pushing that soap bar further away. Your actions, though well-meaning, are seen through a lens tainted by her current feelings. They're not in your favor. Here's a different picture for you. Imagine 2 colleagues at your office vying for the attention of the new girl on the team. One's the office star, right? He's confident, attractive, and generally the person everyone admires. The other? Well, he's trying his best. He's a bit awkward, right? He's not quite fitting the mold of what's generally seen as attractive. He misses a lot of social cues, like he tends to spit when he talks. He talks like this close to your face. I'm trying to paint a very different picture here. Now, if both these guys were to say, leave a note for the new girl expressing their feelings, then maybe that might be harassment. But as long as it's above board, right? Likely her reaction will vastly depend on who it's from. You see, like the stud's note appears as charming while the others might be viewed as creepy. Harsh, I know, but that's the reality of perception. And that is what's happening with your attempts to win your wife back. No matter how genuine or well-intentioned, if she's viewing you through a villain lens, your actions won't land as intended. And this is where the art of the gentle pull, right? Not what you're thinking, comes into play. It's about creating space, stepping back instead of closing in. I can't stress that enough. This has to be that first period of space. Remember Wu Wei, there's action in action. Don't try to row against the current, but instead sail along with it for now. It's counterintuitive, especially when every fiber of your being wants to pull her closer, to show her that you can change and that the good times weren't all for nothing. This means putting a hold on those impulses to bombard her with messages, to shadow her every move, or to drop gifts around and apologies. It's tough, no doubt, but it's essential. In the dance of rekindling love, sometimes the most powerful step you can take is to stand still and bring the music back. Now, moving on to the second phase, let's talk about the blind spots in your understanding. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but it boils down to this. There are things that you just don't realize, and you don't know those. And when I explain this, you might be like, what? You see, You're on this quest, aiming to change her mind about divorce. But if your compass is leading you astray, no wonder you feel like you keep hitting dead ends. You feel more lost and disoriented by the minute. Now, we touched on this before about the complexity and unpredictable nature of what drives women away. The reason she's putting distance between you aren't always what she says. It's like there's a hidden layer, a deeper code you haven't cracked yet. For instance, consider the story of a client of mine, top-notch banker, crazy about his wife. They hit a rough patch about 5 years ago, and she turned into a mystery that he couldn't solve, barricading her emotional self. When they finally got to talking, he was desperate for answers. And what did she say? It was all over a disagreement about which movie to see at the theater. It sounds trivial, right? But here's where it gets interesting. It's never just about the surface stuff, like chores or who picks the movie. These are but visible branches of a much deeper tree. The real deal lies beneath and within behaviors, unmet needs, and the character you exhibit. Say she's upset you never do the chores. On the surface, it's about the chores, sure, but dig deeper, and it's about her feeling unheard and unvalued. What she's really craving is recognition and respect, which are fundamental needs. And when these needs are ignored, it sends a message about your character, about who you are in her eyes. And suddenly, it's not just about forgetting to take out the trash and not listening. All right? We'll break it down further. You decide to tackle the financial strain by working extra hours. That's your solution, more money. But maybe what she's really seeking is security, not just financial, but emotional too. Instead of immediately jumping to fix the problem, showing her that you've got this, that you're her rock, that can make all the difference. And when she accuses you of not listening, it's not a cue for you to nod along more attentively. Hey, I've been there. It's an opportunity to delve into what makes her feel valued and seen. And this approach, moving from surface solutions to addressing deeper needs and reflecting on your character, is a profound shift. It requires you to pause and reflect on everything she's been trying to tell you, directly or indirectly. It's about connecting those dots to the core of who you are and how you show up in this relationship. Because at the end of the day, cutting off the visible branches won't stop them from growing back. You've got to get to the root of the issue, and often that means a deeper dive into yourself. So here's the thing with therapy, right? Sometimes it hits the mark, sometimes not. Imagine you're revamping a house, which stands as a metaphor for your relationship and essentially who you are. You're the rock that keeps the house standing. Therapists often focus on the structural integrity, pillars, roofs, walls, and sure, these are critical. I'm the therapist. But from my own journey, something crucial was missing from the blueprint, and I was never taught it. It had to be discovered through endless conversations and diving deep into understanding what makes relationships tick, especially from a female perspective, and it's probably stuff you've never even considered. There's a basic problem we need to solve. It's about meeting important needs that come from the way our minds have developed over time. We need to show qualities that make our partners feel safe and respected. Without respect and safety, love is off the table. Think about it. A mother loves her children, but does she admire them in the way she admires you? That sets apart parental love from romantic love. Your partner needs from you what her children cannot provide. Steering clear of what's termed emotional incest, a concept well discussed in The Truth by Neil Strauss. We've got a ton of content covering the qualities of what a man of value should look like. But let me give you a brief rundown with the CLL acronym. C stands for calm. What often shakes the foundation of emotional safety is not how you argue, but how you respond to criticism. Getting defensive or withdrawing signals a loss of control, right? Diminishing her attraction and respect for you. Instead, show her that you can handle the emotional load. The skill we emphasize heavily here and something you have to master. It's difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, you start to welcome the opportunities. L stands for loving, but not in the way you think. It's about handling her insecurities and criticisms effectively, not just surviving them, but actually thriving through them. Showing love in a way that resonates with her deeply. And no, it's not about speaking her love language by default. It's about understanding and fulfilling her needs from a place of strength. Now, the second L is for leadership. Remember how driven you were when you first met? That energy, that masculine energy is irresistible. But over time, it's easy to slip into complacency. I'm calling you out here because we've all been here. Being a relationship warrior means embracing the challenges and steering the ship, not just on a grand scale, but in the day-to-day choices, like deciding on what dinner to have or which movie to watch. Leadership is about setting the course for your shared life, beyond the kids, beyond your careers, but as a united front growing together. In essence, embody calm, loving leadership, and you will achieve radical renewal. It's about providing a sense of security, commanding respect, and fostering love through action and understanding. Whether it's picking a restaurant or setting life goals, it's your role to lead. And believe me, you've got what it takes. It's about applying those skills to your relationship as you do in other areas of your life. Okay, so you've been at this for weeks now, and it's about time to dive into that crucial chat. In my guide, we call them CLC reports. By now, you've established a foundation of emotional security and mutual respect, making the path to love smoother. If you're looking for pointers on steering this dialogue, pinpointing the real issues, and perhaps you need some coaching too, feel free to book in a session with our team down below. Let's focus on the heart of the matter here. This pivotal conversation, you must remember to speak openly, share your needs and your commitments, and understand that she's likely to challenge you at first. It's her way of seeing whether you're sincere or not. You might hear, "Really? You love me?" Or, "Is this all just for show?" Or, "This isn't the real you. You're manipulating me." She's testing your resolve. Mastering these moments is key. And I've got a tip for step 4. You see, guys often wonder, should I tell her up front about this conversation or should I just go for it? The approach is more subtle than direct. Notice how when rekindling the spark, it's not about making big public statements, like setting up dates or openly working on the relationship. It's more nuanced. It could be coordinating with the kids or finding an excuse to spend time together, but it's never outright framed as fixing us. That kind of directness feels too forced. It's too masculine. It's about creating a natural, indirect scenario where things just seem to fall into place. He came by, we connected over something simple, and suddenly everything just felt right again. That's the goal. That's what you wanted to say. So find an enjoyable, casual pretext to engage with her. Take the lead, and when the mood is right, delve into the deeper conversation. This is more about showing, not telling, that you're embarking on a new chapter together. Now, this 5th principle talks about 2 key words: modesty and acceptance. This is about acknowledging your shortcomings and being open to a profound personal transformation. Now, to learn more about this, let's hear from 2 men who turned their marriages around in just a few weeks. The biggest part of my change that she's seen and loved is humility. And I built up walls, man. I was a Marine officer and naval aviator. I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof. There was nothing I couldn't fix, manage, and control. I think it's perfect because when I changed and she saw the consistency in me, she went back to being her old self and she just started being affectionate and loving and communicative. And she just wants to be with me all the time now. There are 2 things that could be holding you back from saving your marriage. These barriers are losing hope and battling self-doubt. Doubt is part of the human condition, but it's about which voice you listen to, the one driven by pride and the one open to change. It's a spectrum of self-esteem. So on one end, you have arrogance, blaming everything on her, you're trapped in victimhood, and on the other, feelings of unworthiness. The turning point comes when you admit your mistakes, realize you haven't been your best self, and forgive yourself. It's crucial to surrender to the journey of transformation. Now, this challenging time is an incredible opportunity for growth. I can't end your pain with the push of a button, but I can guide you through it, especially with the support of those who've been in your shoes. Hand over your struggles and trust in the process. If you've stuck with me to the end of this video, I appreciate you very much. And if you'd like further help in achieving what I laid out in this video, extra support from me and others who are going through the very same thing, then click below to set up a free call with our marriage evaluating team. Together we can craft a custom blueprint tailored just for you. Remember, you can win her back, and you're not just fighting for her, you're also fighting for the man you're meant to be. Best of luck, my man, and here's to a brighter shared future.